Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today I'm gonna make this painting here. Now this is not a step-by-step painting because this took me 5 hours to paint this painting. So my mostly focus on this painting is the background, not the bear. I'm not gonna show you how I paint the bear here because um, that is for another day. I am going to show you how I created this background, and because this took me 5 hours to paint, I'm going to have to fast forward this video a little bit, but you still will be able to see the full video for the background part. Alright, so let's start painting. So I am just using the online picture I found here for the bear, and I just kind of trace that on my paper, and I'm just gonna trace that on this canvas here. Now I'm using 18 by 24 size of canvas. For this I'm gonna make it a little bit larger this time, and I'm gonna use this carbon paper. I'm gonna also put the link down below if you want to know what this called and where you can find it. And if you are using this tracing paper, just put it under your drawing. Make sure the shiny part is on the bottom. Just do a little test and make sure it's transferring the drawing. And I have done this mistake so many times. I just draw everything first and then I thought that I'm done. When I remove that black paper, nothing is transferred. So make sure the shiny part is on the bottom. Alright, so I have to fast forward this part again, and I basically just follow my pencil line and I trace the whole bear here. Now I show you this part because if you ever want to transfer anything, you can just use this carbon paper. It will be so much easier for you to use that. Alright, now because my canvas is not really tight, I don't know how else to say, so I'm just adding a water on the back of my canvas like this and making sure that it goes everywhere, all the way on the corners too. And you can see the difference now. It's not wobbly, it's nice and tight. Alright, I'm gonna start working on the background, and I'm gonna use this blue color acrylic paint. Now I'll show you all the colors I'm gonna use as I go, because when I started I wasn't sure what color I want to apply. Okay, so I started applying this light blue color on top of my canvas for the sky, and I mix a little bit of white with the blue for this color. Now I'm gonna go over this color multiple times. This is just a background color. All my focus right now is to cover the whole canvas. So I started applying this light blue like this, and as I'm coming down, I'm just making this color lighter and lighter. I'm just adding more white. And as you can see, I'm just going up and down multiple times. So just make sure all the colors blend. Alright, next color I'm going to use is this green. It's a light green. I'm going to mix it with the white paint here, and it's going to look like a little mint green. And I'm going to apply that on the side of my canvas now. All the greeneries is gonna come on the both sides. Now I'm using my flat brush here. It's a little smaller brush for this canvas, but if you are ever painting on a larger surface, you can just use a larger brush. It will be so much easier and quicker to apply any of your paint here, especially again if you are working on the larger areas. Now since I'm using this smaller brush, I am gonna get a lot of brush strokes here, so that's why I'm using very less paint here. And just keep moving my brush like that too, so that I don't get that many of brush strokes here. And on the other side, as you can see here, I apply a little darker green on the edges, and just a little lighter green. I just add more white as I'm coming in closer to the bear. And to blend this blue and the green together on the top area here, I'm just taking a little bit of white paint and just going between those two colors. That is gonna blend everything nicely together. Now here I applied a little bit more green because I wanted to make the bottom area and the edges a little bit more darker green. Alright, I go back just one more time on the top of my sky here, add a little bit more blue, and I'm also gonna add a little bit more white just to make it a little bit more lighter then. Alright, so here I'm all done with the background. Now I'm gonna start adding the mountains. So I'm gonna start from the top and slowly gonna work my way down. So I started applying this mountain. I'm still using my same brush and adding just the outline for the mountain. And here's my plan. The light is coming from the left side, so I'm gonna add more white, more lighter color on the left side on the mountain, and on the right side it's all the shadows there, so I'm gonna add more darker color there. So right now I'm just again adding just a first layer of this white just on the left side here on this each mountain I have. And I'm also applying a little bit of white under these mountains here just so that everything is looking nice and smooth. Now I'm gonna use this blue color. It's a darker blue color, and I try to use this brush for that. It's a number 6 size. It's a round brush. Alright, so basically I'm just applying this blue on the right side. And trust the process, just in case if you ever make a mountain like this, just try this process. It will be so much easier. At first it might look a little weird, but again, just trust the process. Apply a little bit blue here. Don't use just a plain blue. Add a little bit of white here. Make it slightly a little bit lighter blue. Now here, as you can see, I kind of made that line in the middle for each mountain kind of little straight. You don't have to really make a straight line in the middle. You can just create a different shapes of mountain. Alright, so I also add a little touch of this blue just for the shadows also on that side, just on some areas, and kind of blend that out with the white in the background here. I'm gonna go back again with all of these colors one more time, but that way you're gonna add more layers and more shadows, more textures there. So now I'm gonna go back with some more blue, but slightly a little bit darker blue than the last time. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna work on the bottom area now. I'm gonna use green and brown. Okay, so I'm gonna mix the green and the brown together because I'm gonna add some darker leaves, some more greens on the background. So that's why I'm making slightly little darker shade of green and adding this type of grass, you can say, lines. And a trick to get a little sharper line so you don't have to go over that line too many times is to just add a drop, maybe a little bit more water to your paint, and you will get a nice smooth line for your grass. Now I'm not really adding anything on the bottom here, just gonna work on the sides first. Alright, so now on the other side, I'm gonna do it a little differently. I add some green like this first, and then some grass on top of that, And I'm also gonna add some flowers later on this area. Okay, so I'm gonna go all the way to the middle here and just add taller grasses. Alright, so now I'm gonna use this gray color here, and I'm gonna use this for the ground. Alright, so I started applying this gray here first, and it was a little bit darker here, so I grab a little bit of white and just apply this color like this. Again, just for the ground, I'm mostly just adding this on the bottom. And my green is almost dry here, so to make it look like it's all kind of together, I'm just adding more kind of white on the edges, you can say, where I need to blend the green part and the gray part together. So right here, so I add some white, blending those area like that. And I'm just gonna go over that grass because I'm gonna add a lot of layer of more leaves, more grass, more flowers here. Okay, and on the side too, I also applied that light, kind of the lightest gray I have here, and just going all the way close to that bear. Alright, so I'm gonna use just a plain gray this time, the gray I have here, and I'm just adding the shadow for this bear now. So as you can see, I'm just trying to follow where the light is coming from, and again my light is coming from the left side, so I'm adding most of my shadow on the right side on this bear. And to add these shadows, I'm just adding like little dashes, you can say. Alright, and I'm also gonna add one more color here, which is kind of a little light brown shade. And same thing I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna go everywhere. I'm just gonna also add this little touch of this light brown here. Okay, so I'm done with the ground here. I'm gonna work on the mountains again. I'm using my same round brush this time, and I'm just adding some more snow, more white on the again left side, just lightly brushing it and adding this paint there, not covering the whole left side here, just adding just some of the highlight. Same thing I'm gonna do. I'm also gonna add some blue color this time. I'm just using a plain blue this time, and mostly adding it on the edges, on that line I have in the center of each mountain, and just adding some more blue there, but again trying not to cover the whole thing, but on some places I did. So I will go back, add more white, make it more lighter, and I'm gonna go back with some more blue and more white. Okay, finally I'm done playing with the white and blue here. I'm gonna move on to my next mountain. So I'm using my big brush again and adding a nice big mountain on the left side again, like this. And I used just a white paint for this. I am grabbing the blue from the background mountain I have here. And for this mountain again, I'm using that same blue for the edges. And I'm gonna use white on the left side. But I'm not gonna make it too dark this time. I'm just gonna keep it light for this one. And I'm gonna add one more mountain here. And for that, I'm gonna use a little darker blue color than what I already use here. And this color almost looks like a purple basically. So if you don't have this color, you can just make your purple paint. Alright, so again, I'm gonna add one more mountain. And this one is a little bit closer to the other one. And I'm gonna add a nice tall mountain right here. And because I have the white paint in the background, it's still bad. I'm grabbing some white and this purple is gonna look lighter purple. So I'm basically blending those purple and the white together, and this is how it's gonna look like now. So on this mountain, I'm gonna make the edges a little bit more darker purple, and I'm gonna go over on the edges again and add some trees. So again, I'm just applying more darker purple here on the edges and just smoothing out all of the lines on the bottom by adding a little bit of more white there. Alright, I grab my big brush again here to smooth out all of my brush strokes here. Alright, now I'm gonna use my same middle brush. I started with a small brush here, but I'm gonna change it to the middle and adding this kind of a pine trees. You can say it's hard to see because I'm painting on the other hand here, but basically I'm just adding tiny little lines and adding some little branches there. Okay, now as I'm adding these trees, I'm also lightly dabbing under these trees so that it all looks like it's all together and the trees are not separated from each other. And there are also a bunch of other trees around and the whole forest. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing again, the dabbing technique everywhere on the whole mountain. Like this, I'm just making the edges a little bit more darker. As I'm coming down, I'm not really making it too dark. And I'm also gonna add some white on the bottom here. And again, I'm just dabbing it here and blending this purple, blue, and the white together. And after I added this type of dabs everywhere here, I didn't really like the texture on this mountain that much, especially on the bottom part. So I go back, add a little bit more white, and kind of smooth out all of those dabs I have here. Okay, now the tree part. I'm gonna add a whole bunch of small little trees, and I'm gonna use green color for this, the same green that I used before. Alright, so basically I'm just adding a tree trunk and the pine trees like this. And I'm just adding a line on the bottom here where I'm gonna add my trees. I'm just trying to think where I wanna place my trees, but this is where I'm gonna add my trees. And for some of these trees, I also use kind of gray, light gray color for these trees. Now, for me, it's a little bit hard to make a video for the larger canvas. So when I was painting this, I did not realize that my camera is not facing the sky. So I know that you cannot clearly see this, but I'm gonna show you a little cloud here. What I did is add a little touch of this white and any shape basically, and then I clean my brush and just go under the cloud and just make it a little bit lighter. And then I go back again just on the top of the cloud again and add more white. That is gonna make your clouds pop out a little bit more. Alright, I'm gonna add some taller trees that are a little bit closer to us. So again, same thing, I'm just gonna add a tree trunk and the same tree branches. And I use that same green I am using the whole time. And this time, one thing I'm gonna do a little different is I'm gonna go back with some lighter green. So I basically just add a little bit of white in this green and make it a little bit lighter. And now I'm lightly also adding a little highlight of this light green. And not completely hiding the darker green I have in the background. Just kind of adding some little highlight with the light green. And I'm gonna add some more trees, maybe 3 more trees here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna start with the darker green first, and then I'm gonna lightly add highlight of this light green. Okay, so on this side, I'm just going over with some more green and some more white and just covering all of that area with this light green here, creating the ground here with this green again. Okay, so now on some of these trees, I'm also gonna add a yellow color. So again, my light is coming from the left side, so I'm adding mostly this yellow on the left side. Now I know I don't have a sun on this painting, but I'm still adding yellow here. Alright, so yeah, I'm just adding some yellow just on the left side. It doesn't make any sense, I guess, but I'm still adding this here. Okay, I'm using this different shade of green. It's just a slightly darker than what I used last time. But now here I'm gonna add some more green, more bushes you can say. And I'm just adding this type of vertical lines for this type of bushes. So I started with the darker green. And I'm also gonna add some lighter green on top of those lines. And then I will add some yellow flowers. Alright, so I'm all done with this part. Now I'm just gonna go back and add some more yellow flowers here. Again, I'm still using my same brush here for this. Just adding some dots there, using my brush as a stem. Okay, so now I'm gonna work on both of these sides here and add some more taller grasses, and I'm gonna use my small brush. It's a round brush and it's a 0 size. Alright, so I started adding these taller grasses first, and again a trick is to add a lot of water on your paint to get this sharp line. Okay, so I'm just adding some more taller grasses and just all random type of leaves, and I'm also gonna use different shades of green. So started with the darker green and then I add some lighter green. I go back and add some more darker green again to just add more layers on top of layers here. Okay, so I use three different shades of green. One is green, second one is green and white color, and the next one is green and yellow. Basically I'm mixing those two colors to get the different shades of this color. And one more color I use is little darker green, so I mix blue and green to get the darker shades of green. Now every time I also mix the color, I always get the different shades of so for example green maybe here. So just play around with your colors. To be honest, I'm not that type of particular artist who like to use a specific color. I always just use a basic color that I have here and just mix it with the white and any other color that I want to mix and create different shades. But it all depends on what other color you mix with and what shade you have there. So again, I'm not really particular type of artist who like to use a specific color. I just use what I have. And if you don't have any color, try to just play around by adding a different color in it. Alright, so now here as you can see, I am going back on just some of these larger leaves I have here and adding a little touch of white here, just so that it gives a little highlight on these larger leaves. Okay, so now on the bottom right side here, I'm gonna add a bunch of other flowers here, started with the yellow, and adding this type of vertical lines here. And slowly I'm gonna work with the different color, and I'm gonna use again green, different shades of green, and doing the similar way, I'm adding some more grasses here. As I'm coming down, I'm just gonna make this green darker and darker. Okay, so now all the way on the bottom here, I'm using the darkest green I have. I mostly use more blue and a little bit of green here to get this color. And I'm just lightly adding just these darker shadows for these grasses on just some area like this. Alright, now I'm using that almost same dark blue, dark bluish greenish color, and adding some more grass, more taller grasses here, more leaves. And as I said before, I'm just using different shades of green and adding layers and layers here, just adding more leaves here with the different shades of green again. And I'm just gonna overlap all of these leaves on top of each other. So that's why I'm not just using one color here, I'm just using multiple colors as I go. And this one right here is my favorite type of leaves. I don't know why, it just looks so good here somehow. So I added some more leaves like this, kind of a little closer to my animal, my bear here. Alright, so now to the flowers part. I'm almost using a very similar flower here that I made a painting before, but basically I'm just adding this type of lines with this peach color I have here. I just mixed the tiny bit of yellow, little bit of white, and little bit of red to get this color, and I'm adding this kind of vertical lines for this flower here. Alright, so now I'm just gonna use red and mostly going under the flower here. You can say a shadow, different shades of this red here. I'm mostly going under the flower and adding a little touch of this red. Okay, so this next part took me the longest here to add the stems and under the flowers. So I'm just basically adding some green like this under this flower. So basically I just add a stem first and then kind of cover a little area under the flower. And little later today I also added some white flower too, but I don't have that on this video. Alright, so this next part, again, I'm not gonna focus on this bear here, but I still have a fast forward video. For this bear, I'm gonna again create a different video for an animal painting, because again, this actually took me a little bit more time than even the background. So I'm gonna have to create a different video for animal painting. But basically I started with the lighter color here for the bear. I'm sorry, the darkest color here for the bear, and slowly I add some lighter color and add some fur on it. Again, I'm so sorry I don't have a video for that, but I'll make a separate video for an animal and we'll show you step by step how to paint an animal and all the furs and everything. And I'm definitely not the best animal artist here. There are so many other artists you can also find here who can paint an animal so nicely. It looks so realistic, but mine is, trust me, you don't want to see, you don't need to learn an animal painting from me. I can mostly create nature's painting, like nice scenery, mountain, trees, flowers. I love flowers painting, but I cannot really create an animal painting, but I tried here. And thank you so much for watching all of my videos here, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys all have fun watching this video, and if you like this video, please give a big thumbs up, and also if you are new to my channel, subscribe to my channel. And I know this is not a step-by-step painting video, but I will make a video very soon for a step-by-step painting. And I actually made this painting so I can submit some of my work on for the art fair. So I am applying for an art fair here. So I really needed a painting that is maybe something different. So that's why I am making all the animals painting. Remember I said I'm not a good animal artist, but my plan is to make more painting with more animals, and that's what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing that right or not, but I'm going with the animal painting here for the art fair this year. And sometimes it's really hard to get accepted in some of the art fair. I'm in Michigan, and there are so many art fair happening here in the summertime, and it's, trust me, I applied to almost maybe 5-6 shows, and I think it's for me it's hard for my art to really pop out more than the other artists around this area. So last year I participated in one art show. This year my plan is to at least participate in 2 shows for all the other projects I do. Like I make all the stickers, more keychains and everything. And this year my plan is to go with the painting and animal painting. So I am gonna create a whole series of different animal paintings. I started with the bear, but I really want to do more pets painting. Now I have a question. If I create different dog breed paintings, do you think people gonna buy it? Because it might look like their own pet, but it's not. It's not a custom painting. So I'm not so sure if I want to do it, but I think I'm still gonna go for it and test my luck, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm almost done with this bear for this painting, and I'm started moving on to the darker spots now. So the darker spots I have is around the eyes, so I added more black color there, and adding this darker black on the shadows area. So mostly wherever the shadows are on the bear, I'm adding there. And I also have some black fur, so I'm also adding a lot of hair here. Alright, so here I'm all done with this painting, and I also use an acrylic pen for this painting. If you like to know where I get that from, I'm gonna put the link below here. And I also showed before how to use acrylic pen before. So yeah, here I'm all done with this painting. Again, I hope you guys all like this painting here. And as you can see, I added some white flower here. And thank you again for watching my video. Next time I will create a step-by-step painting. So if you want to paint with me, please subscribe to my channel and also like this video if you enjoy watching this. I will see you next time for another painting or DIY. Bye.